Join the conversation. Follow Jason on Twitter. And don't forget to visit the live show fan page on Facebook.
Already getting questions about people saying, well, what do you mean Trump's not going to roll back Obamacare? I mean, I'm shocked. Well, you just said he wasn't going to do it. Why would he not do it? Well, maybe because he doesn't want to give back 40%, 14 or 17% of a control of the government back to the people. You make the assumption that Trump really cares about you, that the Republicans care about you, that they really care about limited government, and I've got news for you. They don't. They don't. You need to always work from the assumption that every one of these guys is not looking out for your best interest. But here's what Donald Trump proposes. The first thing is first 100 days in office. Number one, he's going to propose a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. That is dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. You want to know why? Because Congress has to vote on it, and then it has to go to the states, right? That ain't going to happen. No way that Congress is going to vote to bind itself down. You're going to have a convention of the states, and the states is going to have to rewrite the Constitution to add term limits. It will never happen. That's dead. Second, a hiring freeze on all government employees to reduce the federal workforce through attrition, with the exemption of military, public safety, and public health. Again, that has to go through Congress. That is going to be a fight. Third, a requirement for any new federal regulation to have two existing regulations be eliminated. That is a pipe dream as well, because he cannot mandate that. Can you imagine if he had the power to just snap his fingers and have all that stuff happen? He can't mandate that. That's something that would have to be changed by law. Fourth, a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after they leave government. The fifth, a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of foreign governments. Sixth, a complete ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. Okay, so all of that stuff, he might be able to get some of that stuff done, which means, A, we'll have less people coming right out of Washington and immediately jumping into the lobbying role, but they're still going to do it. You want to know how they do it? They work indirectly. They're not directly a lobbyist. They're just working alongside. They're advisors. That's exactly right. That's how they do it. They're going to get around that in half a second. So all of these first six things that he's got on his list, I can almost guarantee you none of those things are going to happen in his first 100 days, probably never. Now you go down. On the same day, he says, I will begin taking the following 7 actions to protect American workers. Number 1, I will announce my intention to renegotiate NAFTA with withdraw from the deal under Article 2205. Now, that's not going to happen either. Let me explain why. What is 2205? 2205 is a section of NAFTA that says that any party can leave NAFTA if they want to, as long as they give 6 months notice. 6 months written notice, you can get out, and just because you leave doesn't mean that the treaty is done. All the other parties who are in NAFTA are still bound by the NAFTA treaty. But how do treaties originate? Well, he can propose to renegotiate the NAFTA treaty. He can threaten that he's going to pull out in 6 months, but he cannot submit a written demand to leave NAFTA unless he amends the treaty. And guess what he has to do to get out of the treaty? That treaty has to be voted on by 2/3 of Congress. Republicans don't have 2/3 of Congress. Not only that, but there's a whole lot of Republicans who don't want to get out of NAFTA. He's not going to pull the votes together to renegotiate a contract. And why would anybody renegotiate just because Trump says, I want to renegotiate? This is why all you have to do is think about this for about half a second, and you realize that all this stuff is just a platitude. It's just an empty campaign promise. Second, I will announce our withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That he can do. He can say, we're not going to be part of this, and that way Congress doesn't have to vote on it. Third, I will direct my Secretary of the Treasury to label China a currency manipulator. That's just picking a fight. Fourth, I will direct the Secretary of Commerce and the U.S. Treasury representative to identify all foreign trade abuses that unfairly impact American workers, whatever that means. and direct them to use every tool under America and international law to end those abuses immediately. So he's saying, I'm declaring war on anywhere there's a trade imbalance, right? Because that would, a trade imbalance where we're exporting more than we're importing, or where there's different tariffs, that, of course, is going to negatively impact. I mean, if Cambodia can produce T-shirts at a tenth of the price that America can produce T-shirts, doesn't that adversely affect America? Well, it does if you're a T-shirt manufacturer, but not if you're a guy who buys T-shirts. If you're the guy who buys T-shirts, you love the fact that Cambodian will work for 26 cents an hour. You're like, daggum, I'm really glad that guy's out there schlepping it every day for 26 cents an hour. And you know what? He's loving every minute of it, because it's that or starve. And I get my T-shirts 5-pack for $3.99. Boy, let's continue that. But if you're a guy trying to make T-shirts in America, well, that might adversely affect your business, those Cambodians producing T-shirts at a tenth of the price that you can do it. So I don't know what unfairly impacts American workers, but I can only assume he means anytime a U.S. company is threatened by foreign competition, he intends to try and shut that down. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible economic decision. I can't express to you how bad of an economic decision that is. But that's what he plans to do. Fifth, I will lift the restrictions on the production of $50 trillion worth of job-producing American energy resources, including shale oil, natural gas, and clean coal. I don't know how much of that he could do, because I'd have to look at, I don't know what he's talking about. A lot of these are regulations that are not executive regulations. They're from some other regulatory agency, which means Congress is going to have to pass laws to remove the restrictions on the production of a lot of this stuff. So it's not something that Obama can do unilaterally. Some
Trump.
of it he may be, if what?
You keep saying Obama.
Do I?
Yeah.
Thank you. Please interrupt me.
It's Trump.
Trump.
Yep.
How many times have I said it?
Just that last time.
Just that last time? Okay.
And then the other 2 times.
Okay. All right. Well, Trump cannot do that unilaterally. Some of it he may be able to, but I don't know exactly what regulation he's talking about, so I can't speak to it. Sixth, he's going to lift the Obama-Clinton roadblock that allows vital energy infrastructure projects like the Keystone Pipeline to move forward. Again, that is not something he can do unilaterally. Seventh, cancel billions of payments to UN climate change programs that use the money to fix Americans' water and environmental infrastructure. I believe he can do that, because he signed the non-binding agreement, and this is just a matter of making sure that he doesn't sign a budget that has climate change appropriation money in it. So I think he can do that. But you see, as we go through this, like, what have I read? Like 14, 18, 20 different things that he says he's going to do, and only 2 of them he actually has the power to do. Again, I'll qualify all this by saying I may be way off, but I've been following politics long enough to know that this guy is going to be no different than any other guy.
Didn't Obama say he was going to close Gitmo within the first 100 days?
Yes, he did.
And if I remember correctly, it's still open?
Yeah, it's still open.
Okay.
And he's no different than anybody else. And even if he is different, even if he's radically different, we managed to nominate and reelect as so many incumbents. Those guys haven't changed a lick. And they're not going to change either. So this is going to be an uphill battle to get any of this stuff done. A lot of it looks and sounds really good if you love rolling back regulation and freeing up money and providing more liberty and freedom to people. The question is, will he be able to get any of it done? And I question his desire to get it done, and I question his ability to get it done. We'll find out. I hope I'm eating my words in 6 months, but I doubt it.